Rolling.
And we are live. Hello, everybody. It's your old pal, Rob. And today, we have Candice Harris, new member to the Board Game Geek team. So on behalf of everybody, I'd like to do this on video so everybody sees it. Welcome to the best team out there, by the way.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be on the best team.
and let me tell you something. It's well deserved. We had a chance to meet. We finally met each other actually at the Board Game Geek retreat.
Yep, back in January.
I want to get to that, but I want to talk a little bit about the dinner we had, because one of the reasons you're on the show is because number one, the dinner that you and I spent together, and I think we talked for like 20, 40 minutes because it took forever to feed like 35 people. We're the one table table for 35, please.
Yeah, right. So we talk about games.
But the thing I always wanted to find out, and I wanted to know, was how did you end up getting to that retreat? Who'd you? Was it through Lincoln? How did that whole association go? And tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, so it was through Lincoln. I guess if you didn't read the announcement, I kind of jumped into this hobby.
Mm-hmm. I'm the one person that didn't do it. and you know how busy I've been.
Yeah.
So it's like, they finally announced her. Good.
Yeah.
I saw it on the front page, but I didn't even bother to read it. But go ahead, fire away.
Okay. So I got into the hobby a little over 2 years ago,
mm-hmm.
and I was playing actively in bands for like 14 years or so, and I got to a point from like just always being the band leader and dealing with like different personnel issues here and there, where playing music kind of was like, I need to take a break from this, or at least like playing in a band, like I need to just kind of like step down. Thanks, David.
I knew you like that.
And from there, kind of like taking a hiatus from thank you. From taking a hiatus from music, I ended up kind of jumping into board gaming. And I had always played board games growing up with my family, mm-hmm. and like even hosting friends to have little game nights here and there, apples to apples, whatever, pit. And then at some point, somebody introduced me to Dixit, which was a game changer, but mm-hmm. I still wasn't like fully immersed in the hobby. Right. It wasn't until my birthday 2 years ago, when my significant other, Matt, ended up getting me Mysterium. And we opened Mysterium, we tried to start playing it, and we just weren't quite grasping the rules. Mm-hmm. So we ended up like, maybe there's a video on YouTube, Mm-hmm. And at that point, I think it was Will Wheaton's Tabletop that I started watching first. And I was just like, this is awesome. And then how YouTube just shows you other things, related videos. I started seeing all these different games, and I just got like super into it. So I started watching videos, learning about games, buying games, then saying, hey friends, like come hang and like play these games. And I pretty much like from there just kind of like went down the rabbit hole. I was also kind of taking a break from social media, because I was finding, I was one of those people who are just like, check my phone, Instagram, Facebook, and I was just like, whoa, like this is like, how much time is this taking out of my life, like mm-hmm. every day? And I was just like, I don't want to do that. I want to like sit in a room with people, use our brains together, be social. And I just kind of like got hooked on that. And and then just discovering new games just gets me excited, because I'm just like, somebody like thought to like create this, the mechanics, like the design, the theme, and I'm so fascinated by it, and just how many games exist and keep continuing to come out. year after year. And I'm like, where have I been the past, like, however many years, like, missing out on this? So I just kind of like dove in, and got super into it. It was just about a year ago. I was at a convention with some friends, and my friend Joe pulled me into a game of PAX Renaissance. It was about like quarter of midnight, and he was like, "Come on, let's play this." And I'm like, "Okay, sure," And we played PAX Renaissance, and he just kind of like high level, because there's a lot going. I don't know if you played it, Rob.
Yes. Yeah.
There's a lot going on there.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of just was like, taught me enough to like get going. And at some point I thought I was even going to win, but I was playing with 2 experienced players, so they shut it down. But like, I couldn't stop thinking about that game, and then I like had to track down a copy of it, and that's kind of like how I got into the historical side of gaming. But jumping back to the BGG thing, I was at a convention in Burbank last year in April. Okay. And I kind of like brushed shoulders with Lincoln, and then I ended up actually meeting Nikki, because I think Lincoln had left. And my good friend Jennifer Schlickburn was like, hey, talk to these guys, see if you can get on game night. And, so talked to Nikki for a while, and a couple months later, I got an email from Lincoln saying, hey, like, we want to have you on game night. And I ended up going on game night. And go ahead.
No, what I was going to say, because you're out now, you've been out in LA your whole life, right? That area?
No. I'm actually from Abington, Pennsylvania, the suburbs outside of Philly.
Get out of here. I'm an East Coast girl.
I'm East Coast, yeah.
I'm originally from Connecticut, but now I'm in Florida.
Oh, nice. I have a couple of good friends from Connecticut who actually live out here now. But yeah, I'm actually from the East Coast. I moved out to LA in 2009. So it's been just like almost 11 years. Wow, this October.
How do you like it out there?
I love it.
I
love it. Yeah. I mean, I'm so happy that I was like raised where I was and everything. But like, yeah, I've been in honeymoon stage with LA and just California in general, like, since I moved here. And I just, like, every once in a while will go for a walk or a bike ride, and I'm like, I live here. Because like the weather, just the proximity to the beaches.
Do you miss the seasons at all?
Like
fall. Like I bet you fall, of course.
Fall is like one of my favorites, and we still have family in Philly and friends, so we go back there a fair deal. But no, I mean, not overall, because I love snow though. So what we'll do is we like to travel to cold places in the winter just to like get some snow action, but then come back to the sunshine and palm trees.
Yeah, because instead of dealing with 5-6 months of it, we'll go for a week.
Yeah, you see it, like, even here's another beautiful thing about California. We spent Thanksgiving in Big Bear, which is like 2 hours away in the mountains, and we ended up being snowed in for all of Thanksgiving weekend. It was gorgeous, and then it was like we go home and it's sunny and 75.
Yeah, it's the one thing I love about Florida is I could wear shorts every day. I think I have like 1 or 2 pairs of pants in case I have to go out. But you
have the humidity there though, right?
Oh God, yeah, and hurricanes and alligators and snakes and all kinds of other things. You never know. But every place has its ups and downs.
Yeah.
We actually have a question. What did you do music-wise, Candice? I used to play alto and tenor saxophone, and I loved doing that. Nice. Said David Martins.
Nice. My primary instrument is drums. So I'm a percussionist. I started playing drums in school in 4th grade, and my parents were just like cool with it. And I was actually just saying in an interview I did, like, about how in the 90s, how I don't think many parents would encourage their daughter to play drums. So I really appreciate that about my parents, is that, like, they let me do that, and they, like, encouraged me to just kind of, like, do whatever I want, and didn't say, like, well, why don't you play violin or piano or flute, you know? Like, they're like, you go, girl, play the drums, you know? So so yeah, I play drums primarily, and I also play guitar, but I consider myself a very mediocre guitarist.
Okay.
I just did it I started learning at some point because I wanted to write music. And so any of my bandmates would tell you, whenever I write an idea, my guitar riffs are terrible, but I'm just like, you guys get the idea, make it cooler. Yeah, so
Well,
I do play guitar a little.
Let me ask you a quick question here.
Yeah.
Does you know, reading music is just hard. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Does that kind of background help you with some of these complex rules? You know, especially when we start talking about, you know, games like Labyrinth, which we'll talk about soon enough, and some of the other things that have interested you. Do you find that you're able to absorb things a lot easier because of your musical background?
You know, I never really even thought about that.
But I did.
But no, I don't think so. I don't think there's any direct correlation there, because I mean, especially, like, I mean, in school, I read music as a percussionist, like playing in orchestra and marching band and everything like that. And even jazz band, you read some charts, but, like, most of my adult life I've played in rock bands. So I'm not reading music. I'm writing music, you know, I'm writing parts, but I'm not, like, really, like, reading sheet music. So yeah, I don't think that is related at all.
Okay. Nathaniel has a question. Phil Eklund was jumping into the deep end. What other historical games do you play, and what do you think makes them historical?
Well, let's see. I love Twilight Struggle.
Okay.
I've played Sekigahara, Unification of Japan. That's another historical one. Let's see. I have a lot of games that I have not played yet. Like Cuba Libre is on my shelf. Freedom, the Underground Railroad, I've played. What do I think makes them historical is that they're just based on some aspect of history. And that's actually kind of what I find really fascinating, because when I was in high school and college, like, I was not into history. Like, I was the student who knew how to get the A, like, study what I need to get that A, but I wasn't really into it, and I didn't really pay attention enough to it. So I feel like now as an adult, I'm really fascinated by, like, the mechanics and, like, the little nuggets of history that you learn. And I actually, it's kind of some point later down the line, I want to design a historical board game.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And a matter of fact, we were talking before the show, but I'll get to it. One of the things I wanted to mention was, you know, and one of the reasons I had you here is we got a chance to, like I said, meet at that retreat.
Right.
And we sat down to dinner, and you know, and we started talking, and we just had, like, this instant thing, which was really, really interesting. And how you just started throwing out all these war games, and I'm going, oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. You know, and it was kind of like, it was in that moment I said, you know something, I've got to have her on War Pieces, because, you know, wargaming gets this really bad rap that it's just full of old guys like myself.
Yeah.
Okay. But they don't understand that there's a broad appeal out there. It's
Absolutely.
just, they're not coming forward. And I think sometimes they feel shut out a little bit. Now, you talked about Labyrinth. You've got a chance to play
Labyrinth.
Labyrinth.
No,
No.
I haven't yet. I'm getting it probably next week. I just you know, I would say like a lot of things. Like if you would have asked me a year and a half ago if I would have Twilight Struggle on my shelf, I probably would have been like, no, I'm not into that until I like try one and then I get really into it.
Yeah.
So I just recently I'm trying to think what kind of put Labyrinth on my radar. I'm always like looking into the coin games a lot.
The coin games are ridiculous.
Yeah, and I think somehow I had seen that game. You see it everywhere, you know, but I just like didn't know much about it. I was like a little bit intimidated. And then like, as I start like watching, you know, reading some reviews, watching videos, I'm like, this actually looks like a really good game. And,
it is a tremendous experience. And I can tell you coming up is Imperial Struggle. So if you like,
I got that on pre-order, Rob.
You got it on
I got that on pre-order. Yeah.
That's my girl. I did a run through of it. It's just an absolutely fascinating masterpiece in the fact of what it does and how it does it. The Cold War, I mean, you knew that, okay, all you're trying to do is prevent nuclear war. But when you're talking about one of the greatest rivalries of all time, okay, through the history of man, you know, the British and the French, okay, and their complete power struggle over 100 years and 4 wars in between that, and how it takes peacetime and takes that political intrigue.
Yeah.
Okay. And just you know, and you're making all these certain moves, and then you come to the wartime. Okay. And you only have a certain amount of balance depending on that particular time period. Maybe the French were stronger during one war, or the British were stronger during another point. And how you tried to survive that and create different kinds of chaos, and then come out of it into another peacetime for a while, and then go into another war. And it just does all these different things, and it does such a great job at doing it too. You
have a video of it up, or you just played it?
I'm telling you. Do you even watch my channel? No, no. Yeah,
apparently not enough.
Not enough. No, I actually, I think it was up last week or something like that. But
I will check that out because I'm actually, I'm really pumped about that game.
Another thing. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, and I just like, I haven't really seen it in action yet. I just from like reading the description, I'm like, yep, bye.
Bye. I mean, and it's the smartest purchase that you could ever make, because I'm promising you, when you open that up and you see what I'm talking about, you're gonna go, man, that old fart was right.
Get me excited.
Yeah. Another thing that just popped up recently, and I'm going to make myself a little bit bigger here so you guys can see. Because, here, why don't I do it right? There we go. No, I did that wrong too.
Now we're seeing your desktop.
Yeah, geez. There we go. There's too many buttons here. This actually showed up on the doorstep at the end of last week.
Okay.
And you've heard of David Thompson, correct?
I don't think so.
Undaunted Normandy?
Yes. Read the rules like 2 weeks ago. Still haven't gotten it to the table.
I'm telling you, you are not going to be disappointed with that one. But this is another game. He's also done another game that I really suggest for you, Pavlov's House.
Pavlov's House. Okay, I haven't heard of that one.
Castle Itter. They are so unique and so different that, you know, the type of games that you like, it's really going to fall in your wheelhouse.
Cool.
Okay. And you know, like I was trying to say earlier, because I'm actually jumping ahead myself, but this here takes a different approach to the Cold War, where you really like Twilight Struggle. Okay, and I believe this is going to go out on the market very soon, and I haven't done the video for it yet because I'm trying to master this. But the really unique thing about this is it takes 2 periods of time
Okay.
So you're talking about Europe during a very interesting time, and I believe it starts in the early '90s and it takes it almost to modern day, where Europe has the economic power, but its biggest problem is that it cannot make a decision amongst itself. Okay. And that's one of the things that when you take a look at what this game does, it basically utilizes that, where Russia, because of, after Berlin Wall fell, it was fragmented. It doesn't have the resources or the money or the power, but it is a nation that will react quickly and swiftly, and is mechanized and will strike like a cobra. Okay, so now, go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Is this a 2-player game or like?
Oh, it's a 2-player game.
Okay,
it's a 2-player game, and you decide which side you're going to be. But you have like Act 1, which is the New World Order, and that's after. Everything's fragmented and so forth and so on. And then Act 2 is the Cold War. Okay. The new Cold War that's happened. And how this all, and it just has this incredible, it plays a little Euro-y, but it also has this very strategic and fantastic historical feel to it that will suck you in. And I'm telling you, Miss Candice, you and I are going to have to play this live.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I saw. I went to Essen to Spiel last year, and I had that on my list of games to check out there. And I think I just got like overwhelmed with a bunch of all the games coming out. And I never went deeper with it, but now I gotta check it out again. See, you're putting up a video soon?
Oh yeah. I just want to make sure I get everything down. I mean, I'm always going to make mistakes, but I try not to make I try not to make fatal mistakes. I'll take a board. What's that? Oh, you went out. Oh, what happened there? Hold on. Hold on. Can't unmute. Your mic went out. Her mic went out. Hold on. But again, like I was trying to say, that this is like an incredible game. And, when you're trying to learn something like this, you want to represent a game like this correctly. Let's see if you can, let me see. There you go. Your power went out.
Okay, here I am.
All right, there you go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't know. Like sometimes Bluetooth headphones, weird things happen.
Oh, they of course, and it's in the middle when you're live and all that other.
Figure. Yeah.
I mean, go figure. But like I was trying to say, it's you really just when you get something like this, you really want to make sure that you represent it, because when you start going through it and you start to see the passion that's involved in a lot of games, and what goes into a lot of these things and how they all come together, and what they're trying to portray, you want to make sure that you give a good, accurate feel to the audience so they understand what you're feeling as you're learning this.
Absolutely.
And see if that connects with them.
Yeah.
I mean, God, that. And as a matter of fact, you were telling me that you're in the middle of designing a game, I believe.
Yes, I am. The middle, somewhere in there. I'm actually designing a music-related game. But because I think like coming into the hobby as a musician, I felt like music-themed games are severely underrepresented. And oh, nice.
yeah. Have you ever played that game? The video game? Do you play video games at all?
No, I'm not. I'm
Okay,
not a big video game
That
person.
is actually a video game.
Oh,
and
okay.
he's making it into a board game, and it's like this unreal board game. I mean, unreal
Nice.
video game that
It's gonna-
everybody's like really curious of what he does with it, because one of the things I'm going to tell you is when you play Undaunted, you're going to play that and you're going to be in awe. And I bet you play it as much as you play Too Many Bones.
Okay.
I would take my reputation on that.
I love deck building. It's one of my favorite mechanics. So anytime you have deck building with like some kind of board game or other mechanics mixed in,
that's actually a fun game that we can do on BGG too.
What?
Undaunted.
We can do that because I have it and you have it. How would we do it?
Yeah, because I have it and you have it. You would just have your own deck.
Okay.
And then I could just, when you place a card, I would just take and place those cards.
Cool.
And you would be able to look at it, and it would be all hidden. Now, I actually tried to play that game solo, and I did it over the Christmas holiday, and it actually worked pretty good solo, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Even though it's a strict 2-player game, I played both sides, and you tried.
And it was still interesting.
It was very interesting.
Cool.
It was very interesting how it all progressed, and I had such a blast at it. I'm telling you.
All right. I'll rank that one
right
up.
There, isn't it?
Yeah. It's right there.
Yep, there it is. There it is. And he's actually got North Africa coming out pretty soon.
I saw that. That looks pretty good. Have you played a few Acres of Snow? I'm sure you have.
Oh God. Oh God. I mean, that has to be considered one of the greatest games ever made. I mean, when you talk about a matter of fact, I had David on the show a couple weeks ago, and he had mentioned that game was such an influence to him.
Ah, cool.
Okay? And that game, and you just bringing that game up. I mean, gold star for you.
Thank you. I've only played it once so far, but man, and I beat Matt, so he's afraid to play again.
Oh, he's afraid to play. The funny thing about that game, it's one of those games that you play it, and then it just sticks with you afterwards for a day or two.
Yeah.
And you're always thinking about it. You're always thinking about what you did and how you did it. Yeah. And it's just one of those games that sticks with you. Like you were talking about the Freedom Railroad there.
Yes.
Academy Games. You look at all their games. I don't know how many games you have from them.
I don't know either besides Freedom. What else have they done?
They've done the Conflict of Heroes series. Storms of Steel, Awakening the Bear, and they have solo aspects of it, but it's really a unique thing, and it's something that especially that I think you would like.
Cool.
Is that you take a situation and you take these bunch of soldiers, okay, and everybody thinks they can just sit behind a chair like we're sitting here and move those pieces, and that they're just pieces of cardboard. But what you forget is that they are individuals, that they were people at one point.
Yeah.
And what he builds into the game is how people would react. I mean, if somebody starts shooting at you right now, you're ducking to the ground and you're hiding behind a quarter if you could.
Right.
It's that kind of thing.
It's
now,
awesome.
I don't know if you know Kabuki Kid, but she's probably one of the most famous.
I do know Kabuki Kid from, I think, either maybe our Gamma BGG stream or your streams.
From everywhere. She is embarrassed that she has never played A Few Acres of Snow. None of my friends own it, so I would have to be the one to buy it.
And it's out of print too.
Yeah, it's out of print.
I had to track down. I probably paid a little too much for it.
Well, was it worth it?
Yes.
No, okay.
Absolutely. It's
That's
not leaving my collection.
No, it doesn't look like much is leaving your collection. But then again, you don't want to see the walls and walls and walls of games.
And we have a garage here, so there's more. but some that are being sold. So eventually,
it's so hard. It's so hard to sell them too.
Yeah, I know.
Unless you really don't like them, it's really hard to part with everything. Let's see. We had a question here. Question. You are such a cheerful and emotional person. Has a gaming experience ever given darker emotions?
Huh. That's a good question. And thank you, Nathaniel. Well, let me think.
I think what he's saying, have you played and had a bad experience and just went, you know something? As nice as I am, boy, this is not fun. And
I have had a bad experience, but it wasn't like too terrible. It was actually with Clank Legacy. There were like 2 games back to back where I died and did not get out, and I didn't get to score. And I was just like, the first time I was being a little risky, trying to go a little too deep for that the high point artifact. But then the next game I was like really conservative about it, and I'm like, let me just get this and get out. And I still couldn't, because it was just like the luck of the draw. It was just bad luck. And that kind of like made me feel sour, but overall, not really. Like, I can't think of a gaming experience that has like brought me, made me feel not great. Like regardless of the theme. Yeah, I can't really. Yeah, not really.
Okay, all right. That's
not
fair.
Yet, at least. Not yet, at least.
Now we were talking about Academy Games and some of the games that they came out with, but that Freedom, the Freedom game is actually part of the Birth of American series. Okay, and hopefully Mo will spell it right next time. But that's okay. He's Mo.
So what other game would you recommend me checking out next?
I think 1775 Rebellion is very good.
Okay.
There's 1754, which is also great. Matter of fact, everybody's putting them in the chat here. 1776, 1775 Rebellion, which is really, really a great game in that series. 1754. The Viking game I thought was good. It's not one of my favorites out of all that. What
was the first one? What was 1775 Rebellion? Is that what it is?
Yeah, 1775.
Okay. So I am aware of that, and I'm very interested in playing it, and I almost bought it like multiple times, but then I'm like, I need to stop spending money on board, And I think it just got cut from the list, but I will reprioritize that.
They have Strike of the Eagle, which is not part of it.
Okay.
The Invasion of Canada, 1812.
Yes, I've heard of that one.
That is a phenomenal game.
Okay.
A phenomenal game. I compare that one. One game that I like from Compass Games, Quebec. Oh God, I wish I could remember what year it was that they had, but it's called Quebec, and that game is so simple. You could just play it by yourself, and it's such a great experience. You have the same feel with the Invasion of Canada, and it just phenomenal war games.
Yeah, I will put those back on my list, because I was like really close to getting them at some point, but I forget like whatever, so many games.
Here, I love 878 Vikings.
+1
for me, out of everything. I mean, I love the Viking game, but I think out of all of it and the experiences that I had, I found that one to be my least favorite out of the group, but I love them all.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Somebody, here we go. Somebody notify Uwe. Get Candice some Academy games.
Nice.
Uwe, if you're watching, Get a hold of Candice. Get a hold of
I'll play them.
Yeah, I know you'll definitely play them. But it's definitely fantastic. Funny, I just bought up 78 Vikings because we are watching The Last Kingdom. Have you watched that?
Oh, that's a Netflix series?
Yes.
I might have seen one episode, but no, I haven't gotten into it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Is it worth checking out, guys?
Yeah, if Herman's raving about it, you're gonna absolutely love it.
All right, thanks, Herman. I'll put that on the watch list.
And one of my favorite games, but I'll be honest with you, you need a few players to play this, and I have everything for this game. Is Mare Nostrum Empires? It is such a fascinating game because you're basically competing for goods and stuff like that, and you could be the Roman Empire or you could be Greece or and anywhere in that time period, and you're moving your pieces. You don't want to fight anybody, but you kind of want to do it because there's a way you can win economically, but you want to I'm just going to take this little bit of land. Because you don't want to get into this huge battle because what you're trying to do also is economically stranglehold everybody.
Gotcha.
And it's such a phenomenal. I have the huge map for it. I have the poker chip type of resources.
Okay.
I painted all the minis and because
it sounds cool.
Oh my God. If you get a chance to get that.
Okay.
I'm telling you
Is it out of print or is it still available?
I think you can get it from Academy of Games.
Okay.
You know what? I'll reach out to Uwe and see what we can do. I'll see what we can do. I got to take a sip of water
here. Cool. Thanks, Rob. So what's your favorite coin game?
Oh, jeez. For the longest time, it was the Afghanistan one. God, it's escaping me.
Distant Plain.
Distant Plain.
Yeah.
And then they had the British one that came out.
Liberty or Death, or
Liberty
the one that's the hard one, really hard one.
Yeah, the
Pendragon.
Pendragon. And that I kind of started going towards the Pendragon a bit.
Okay.
I love Liberty and Death.
Yeah.
But I always come back to Distant Plain. And it's such a funny thing. The only one I don't have, believe it or not, is the one that's sitting on your shelf. I do not have Cuba Libre, and I can kick myself. I have an opportunity to get it. I have to get it. To complete the series.
Do you have Gandhi?
Yes.
How's that one?
I liked it.
Hesitantly, he says.
No, I liked it. I found it very fascinating. I was sucked into the theme of it all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think I really think it's one of those things that I was just completely blown away by. But when I start thinking of those coin games, I always lean back to Pendragon and Distant Plain because it was just so people don't realize how fascinating Afghanistan is, how it's broken up into all those different tribes, and how we're in there, and how everything is run off. Of course, the poppy seeds and the income is basically the drugs and everything, and how everybody kind of twists and turns in it.
Yeah.
It's just really just a Colonial Twilight is another great coin game.
Oh, and that's the 2-player one.
But it's very easy to solo.
Oh, okay.
Matter of fact, Mo put it in there. We're gonna put Mo up there.
Just check out.
You gotta love Mo. Mo is probably
thanks, Mo.
If you get a chance, okay.
Very easy to solo. I need that, yeah.
But if you want to see a couple of channels that you're really going to pick up on some things, okay.
Yeah.
And we were talking about a little off the air. You want to check out Mo's Game Table. Okay. He does fantastic unboxings and things like that. So you're going to get a feel for what you get. Then a couple of other people that you're really going to want to take a look at is he's in here, and I'm going to embarrass him yet again, is the Rough Swordsman's Wargamer.
Okay.
I've watched tons and tons of videos, and a couple of my favorite people, and one that recently that I really got to know and get. As a matter of fact, I got to get a hold of him because he wants to learn how to paint. Gimpy Gamer, who is a former Marine who was injured in combat, but he does some of the most instructional and most unbelievable videos that you'll ever see, and he'll sell you the game without trying to sell you the game.
Love it.
Okay. And the Rough Swordsman, now I really want to preface this, and it's not because he's in here, but every time I've ever watched anything he done, the excitement that he has, the way he explains things, and the way you feel like you're there playing with him, it's something I can't duplicate.
That's awesome.
Okay. And I think these are a couple of things that now you've got your homework.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you and I do something either next week or the following week, the first thing I'm going to go, did you watch any of the stuff?
And I will too.
And I'm going to be taking notes.
And this is exactly why I rarely have been watching like Netflix and Hulu. It's because like I'm always watching game videos.
Oh God, you just can't. You can't stop. And there's such a world out there. And again, I want to go back to us meeting together.
Oh, yes.
And how you had such a fascination for history, for wargaming, and all these things, and you wanted to absorb and learn more. You weren't just a person that came in and said, "Hey, I play, Euro games, and that's it."
And that's it. Yeah.
No, you had this just wide open enthusiasm, and it was very contagious, and it was something that stuck with me because out of the entire retreat, and I'm not saying this because you're here, my favorite moment was meeting you, and you got me excited about things again.
Oh, that's cool. Thanks, Rob.
Because we were there for like 4 days, and smashing their heads together, and you're kind of sitting there and you're going, yeah. Some of it flying over your head and this and the other.
And I was like new kid on the block too.
New kid on the block. But we're all trying to problem solve some things.
Yeah.
But that dinner, and when we were done, and you and I sat for 25, 30 minutes, and we talked, I went, wow. Yeah. Now I know why they brought her in here, because when you think of Board Game Geek, you look at the lineup of all-stars that are on there. You're talking Rodney, Chaz, the Murph guys, Beth. What an inspiration she is.
Yeah.
Aldi, a fantastic leader. You can't forget Lincoln and Nikki. Nikki, who everybody thinks doesn't say anything.
I love Nikki.
But if you get her going, she don't shut up. And I love that about her.
Yeah.
She comes across as this nice, quiet, little demure,
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, and she gets a head of steam on her, and you better look out. And then you can't forget the Murph brothers and Aldi, who runs, and then the people behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I said it during the retreat. We are a team of all. Great
team. Yeah.
It's a fantastic team, and all the the enthusiasm and everything that you bring to the table with with Steffi. I don't want to forget her. Who I was laughing the entire time with.
Yeah.
It's really a great thing, and the little things that we do for each other is I think it's just completely
it's a great team.
Yep. Hi, listening from the start, want to say Candice is a great guest. So positive, interesting, enthusiastic, awesome hair too.
Thank you, Godzilla lover.
And she's one of my favorites. Why? Because she's a Godzilla lover. If you ever saw her collection of Godzilla stuff, it is like
really.
Gimpy does great how-to boot camp videos. Makes it easy to jump into games. So, like I was saying, if there's something that you want to do. and you haven't even cracked the lock and load stuff that's out there.
Oh no.
David Heath, you got Compass Games, which has a lot of phenomenal
Yeah.
games. Of course, you've dipped your toes into the GMT world.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Another one is Worthington Games, which are nice, simple games. If your boyfriend is not a heavy war gamer, they're light enough where you get the historical feel to it.
Yeah.
But it's not overloading him with rules where I know you.
Yeah.
You want to absorb it all, and the more complicated, the more you're in.
Yeah, totally. Now he does love Star Wars, so we have played Star Wars Rebellion.
Oh yeah.
So you want to talk about Star Wars war games? He's totally in for that. But I wanted to say too, before we jump topics from the retreat, another awesome moment that I especially remember sharing with you was when we were moving all the shelves for the game library into the warehouse, and you were just like showing me some of these old school, which I think are all these games, like these old school games, and I'm like, that's so cool.
Yeah, because and nobody has ever been there, and I'm going to get to some of these questions because I want to make sure I get everybody's stuff in. Board Game Geek has a humongous warehouse.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how everything is run by Jeff Anderson and all the people there, their shipping department. We got to see this new building.
Super cool.
And how we get prepared for a convention. There's so much work that goes into it. But the way they have it is so unique because they just have totes and totes of clear totes. So you could see like everything from their library and then all the other stuff that they pulled from the library.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm looking there and I'm going, you see that game? That game came out in 1970.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to you and I'm going, that is a fantastic war game.
Yeah.
You need to get that.
Yeah.
Or, oh my God, they don't want that anymore, do they? and we were just standing there and it's kind of like, the only thing I could compare it to is when you have like back in the old days, you used to buy tapes of all the old trailers or all the old TV commercials, and you go, "Oh, I remember that commercial. That was my favorite cereal or something like that, or that was my favorite." Or you see something for your favorite cartoons and stuff like that. And I'd watch back like all the old 50s and 60s and 70s stuff.
Cool.
And looking there and going, oh God, I remember when that came out.
Yeah.
Oh God, how does he have one of those? And you just sitting there wide-eyed going, really?
What?
I need to get that? Okay.
Yeah. Really cool.
Okay. that was a lot of fun.
That was cool.
Worthington, I just mentioned Worthington. As a matter of fact, Mo brought it up. Worthington are really easy to get non-war gamers to play. But you're a war gamer. I think you will really like the games because of the historical value and the passion that's put into it.
Yeah.
One thing I can say, and one thing that you're going to learn even as you go further down the rabbit hole, is that you have these companies that, a lot of them don't do it full time. Okay. They do it part-time. Some of them do it out of their garage. But the one thing that you will find, and it's very true about wargamers, is that they are very passionate. Okay. And the people that design the games are passionate about a particular era and what they do. And they put their heart and soul into it.
Yeah.
Where in some other board games,
sure,
I'm not going to say what, it's, well, this is the hot theme. How can we make money at it?
Right.
Where in this particular little world, okay, which is part of the overall thing.
Right.
This is a world where you are going to find that Okay, well, nobody's done anything about this particular battle in 1911 or something.
Right.
And I'm going to cover it, and I'm going to research all this history, and I'm going to build something around it, and then you start to learn things, and you start to feel the passion, and you want to share it with other people. These coin games do a lot of those things, and you're gonna find that as well. Let's get to a question here, because we're an hour almost went by. Can you believe it?
Oh, good question, Trevor.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have. Oh, why can't I find them right now? I do. I have Escape from Hades. I got Agricola. Is a Master of Britain, and then Meltwater.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't played Meltwater yet, but actually when I was at Gamma, Clay from Capstone highly recommended that, and I even got the plexiglass. Like I'm ready, but it's just like it's so hard with the pandemic, because I have a good chunk of friends who love these games and would be down to like spend the time playing them. But I just can't always get them to the table, because not because Matt's not always down to play, but it's just like he's busy with work and side hustle stuff too. So it's just hard. But yeah, I can't wait to like get together with people who are also like passionate about these kind of games. I already have somebody lined up for Labyrinth too.
Hollandspiel is another great suggestion, they said.
Yes.
And here's some of the things, when you start to know some of the companies, like you get to call them out, Tom and Mary, Grant and Mike at Worthington. That's how close-knit everybody
I love it.
becomes.
It's really cool.
And it's something that you're really going to love. Tom and Mary are two of the nicest people, and when you get channels saying that, it's absolutely fantastic. Let's see, Hollandspiel, love Agricola, Master of Britain, the best Agricola game on the market.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get into the other one.
No.
The farming one.
And I can't forget my boy Mark Walker and Flying Pig Games. I could sit here and name off so many different companies. And if you ever saw a Mark Walker Flying Pig game, first of all, they take up the entire table. But here's the thing: it's not wasted space. It has this unbelievable beauty to it, because these maps are so well done.
Yeah.
And you open them up, and then all of a sudden you're just sucked into it, like Stalingrad, the battle for Stalingrad, or the Pacific Theater, West and East battles and things like that from World War II. I mean, just phenomenal things. And let me tell you, Flying Pig, I can't speak any more highly about.
I'll check it out. And Worthington.
You've got all these things. The problem is, you're going to want to buy every single thing. That's the problem with it.
I need to just get more things to the table that I have also.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I do want to buy all of these.
Let's see here. Somebody talking about there's a great underground company called Dark City Games. They mostly make games with modded rules from old school to Fantasy Trip. That's for yesterday's show. That's RPG World. We talk about RPGs on Tuesdays. They have a war game series that they just started too. I believe that the Combat Boost series. Currently, Battle of the Bulge is available, and having played it, I can say it is excellent.
Cool.
Okay, let's see what else we got here. Okay, here's one. I am interested in Versailles 1919, but plan to wait for some reviews. Very interested in the theme. What do you think?
I actually, I just covered in the BGG News a couple of new GMT games, and Versailles 1919 was one of them. And it was one that I went in not really sure, feeling either way about it. But after like kind of like digging in and like researching it a bit and then watching some videos, it's on pre-order with Imperial Struggle. I love those games, those like political games where you're, influencing this and that. So I am anticipating that I'm going to like really like that one, but yeah, I haven't played it yet.
As a matter of fact, Mark got a chance to play it. I mean, Mo got a chance to play it. Was great. Played it with Mark at WBC. Interesting game, and it can be played solo.
Love it. And I just got hip to WBC because I kept hearing people talking about it. I'm like, what is WBC?
It's a funny thing, Trevor. I'm partially deaf in this ear, so I can't hear myself talk. So when I try to say things, I can't hear myself silence things out. So I butcher everything. That's something that's been well known on the channel. So it's a first try.
Rob.
Rob. Thank you for correcting me. I hope you feel much better about it. And now you can sleep at night. But this ear is just about gone. So I really have a tough time. But I don't worry about it. I still go on camera and I butcher things, and who cares?
Hey,
it's me.
Great. Yep, it's you. We love you.
Hey, the most unprofessional channel. Yeah. And look, you're already getting invites. Come to WBC, Candice. We will game and have fun. And that's one that you definitely got to check out. And
it's in Pennsylvania, right?
That is correct. You could stop home for a little bit.
Yep.
Give everybody a hug and a high five, and
yep. And is it all war games there, or is it like
what's that?
WBC, is it like all war games?
It's kind of a mixture of everything. It's the world championships of everything, and it's really fantastic.
All right, next time it happens, Rob, let's
go. Definitely. I was planning on going this year, but I've got reasons to make sure I go next year because boy, I know everybody's so excited to see me when I go there.
Yeah. I might have to put that on my calendar.
No, definitely. We will go and we will have a blast. I promise you. The focus, the real focus is war games, and that's where everybody gets together and meets and kind of hashes everything out. And it's really fantastic. And I think you'll just have a bunch of days where you will just get sucked in, and we may never see you again.
Cool. Thanks,
well, there we go. I mean, we killed an hour, and I think we still have we didn't even get to half the things we wanted to talk about, but that's okay. That's how it works at War and Pieces. We just open it up, and we really talk with everybody in the chat and have a good time. And Trevor, I love you. I mean, you've been part of the channel forever. I've just given you a hard time. but no. Again, it just flies on the show and it goes by. And I want to thank everybody for stopping in. And again, I want to congratulate you on becoming the newest member of Board Game Geek. I'm just so proud not only to have you on the team, because I think you just add so much to it, but the best part about it is you're a friend. And me, I don't have a lot of friends, but you are definitely a friend of mine. And
thanks,
you're
Rob.
Somebody that you and I are going to be doing a lot of cool stuff together, and they don't know what we have planned.
I know we have some things planned.
We have some things planned that you can see here on Rob's Tabletop World and BGG. All right, we said it all. I don't think we could. Well, no, we didn't say it all, but I don't think
we said something.
We said something. But we're definitely going to have you back on because we're going to have some other people on, and I want you to be here because I want to get your perspective on some things
with other people.
Yeah, and we've got so many things planned going forward. It's just really fun. This is what War and Peace is all about, giving you a different aspect and different perspectives of all the things wargaming and gaming in general and life.
Yeah.
And we do it good. So, Candice, say goodbye to everybody.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for all the questions, comments, welcomes. Really appreciate it. Definitely going to check out all the recommendations. I'm gonna have to like rewatch the video because I wasn't taking notes. But Rob, you're awesome. Thank you for having me.
Thanks. Hang on for a second. And Gut Bomb, thank you for the $10. You know, Debbie's all that. We can't leave now. We can't leave now because every time somebody donates some money, $1 goes into my granddaughter's college fund.
Oh, so, nice.
Well, but it's actually Godzilla that comes takes it. Thank you, Gut Bomb. You're the man.
Awesome.
All right, everybody. For your old pal Rob, Godzilla, and the great Candice. Until next time, it's your old pal Rob. We'll see you soon.
Bye, guys. Thanks.